Hello, it's Ruby, and today I'm going to be setting up my academic planner for 2026-2027. I can't believe this time of year is actually here already as well. Lots of people have been asking, will the academic planner from Pumpkin Productivity be releasing again this year? And indeed it is. I've got them here and they are beautiful this year. Like, I cannot say how much I love these. As a teenager, I loved planning. I've always loved planning. I've always loved to-do lists, and I always dreamt of making my own academic planner because I used to plan it every day and I relied on them very much, but none of them were quite perfect, and there were always things I thought, well, actually it'd be so much more effective if this was here or this was here. I wish that it included this. So after years of compulsive to-do list making and planning, I compiled all of that kind of internal feedback into the perfect academic planner, and this is actually the 7th academic planner which has been released through Pumpkin Productivity. We improve it every year, though at this point I feel like it is basically perfect. The most exciting bit though is always showing you the covers. So we've got 2 covers this year, like with last year. The first is this beautiful matcha green. I absolutely adore this colour. We've done a green in the past, but it wasn't quite so vibrant as this. Like, this is a perfect matcha latte colour. So this is the first choice, which is our plain cover, and then the second cover is this one, which is by the extraordinary Jess Mason. Jess Mason is one of my favourite illustrators. I adore her work. She is so talented and it has been a dream to work with her. Like, I still can't believe that she's actually done this cover. It's so cozy and perfectly captures that spirit of like autumn motivation for school. I adore it. And actually I did ask Jess if she would share a little something in this video from her, and so I'm going to cut to that now.
When Ruby first got in touch about this project, I was so excited. The brief was simply cozy academia, which gave me so much creative freedom, but is also a theme that I am deeply interested in. So the idea came to me so easily. For a bit of background, I am a children's book illustrator, but I also create a lot of bookish inspired artwork for my Etsy shop and share a lot of my creative life on YouTube and Patreon. Classic literature, the seasons, cozy interiors all find a way of making their way into my work, and for this project specifically I wanted to create a cozy autumnal Oxford-inspired university room, somewhere that might inspire you to study, to romanticise the act of studying. We also decided to include some literary Easter eggs, so there are objects relating to Virginia Woolf, Sylvia Plath's typewriter, even the pattern on the curtain is inspired by one of Charlotte Bronte's dresses. I love to create artwork that is absolutely filled to the brim with detail and atmosphere, and this allowed me to indulge in all of my favourite things about illustrating. So I really hope you like the cover and enjoy exploring it as much as I enjoyed illustrating it, and thank you so much to Ruby for trusting me with it.
As Jess says, there are so many little literary details. So for example, this is Charlotte Bronte's art box, Marie Curie's lamp. This little sparrow is a little ode to a little princess. A Blackwell's tote bag. This is the quilt that Beatrix Potter has in her home at Hilltop. And you can honestly just spend hours looking at all of the details here. It's so beautiful and I cannot say how much I adore it. Anyway, these are the new 2 planners, and as I say, I'm going to set up my planner for the new year now. I always love doing this. Preparing your planner for a new school year is honestly one of the most fun things ever. First, just to start, there is a little letter of introduction as per usual, and then an about me page. I used to love filling out about me pages in planners, but they were always quite boring, and that's why there are a few additional questions on this one, like things I'm excited for the new year, my biggest motivations, and then also these 3 questions which you can answer at the beginning of the year and the end of the year to see if your favourites change. Also, this sticker sheet will be available on Pumpkin Productivity this year. We're releasing it alongside the academic planner because we've got so many requests to bring back the sticker sheets. Then the next page is a key, of course. There is always a key. So the first one lets you track little icons for indicating if a task is done, cancelled, will do later, an event, priority, or in progress. And there is also a little colour code section. I've just colour coded for defill academic, other projects, YouTube, writing, and pumpkin productivity. And I also filled in the quick motivational questions on the right-hand column. And on the next page is a self-care spread, which is one of my favourites again in the planner. There are just a few reflective questions here to answer before the academic year about like ways that you can look after yourself this year, because academia can be very stressful and school and university can be very stressful. So these are little reminders, you know, things that are important to you other than your education. So under the things I will make time for this year, I wrote writing Agatha letters, seeing Blakeney, recreational reading, time at home, walks in the rain, and letter writing. Then next, there is a page for academic goals. Now, this is split under subjects. If I do my PhD next year, I will only have one subject, so I'm just filling this out in pencil to show you. And then there are a few more reflective questions here. Then next, we've got the morning and night routine page. This is not something I've ever seen in a planner before, but I think it's such a useful thing to keep. You can either use this for actually writing a time-stamped morning and night routine, but I like to use it for tracking morning and evening habits. So for my ideal morning habits, if you're interested, are waking up before 6:30 a.m, going outside first thing, reading 50 pages of my book, writing something like an Agatha letter usually, having a cold shower, and free journaling or doing morning pages. Next, there is this page for monthly goals, separated into academic and personal. I only set my goal for September, so for academic, that's to prep key resources ahead of the PhD if I do it, and the personal is just to spend time with family before the academic year starts. Next, for things I want to accomplish, there is places I want to see, things I want to try, and things I want to do at some point in my life. And I like to add to this as the year goes on, so I'm not filling this in completely. The next page is our clubs and societies tracker. I always love the process of deciding on different clubs and researching them. So the three that I'm thinking of signing up to would be the Oscar Wilde Society, the Oxford Bibliographic Society, and the C.S. Lewis Society. There is also a page of things to learn more about, and then if you have a spare evening, if you have a spare couple of hours, you can deep dive into one of these things and then tick it off afterwards. It's such a fun way to keep track of different kind of learning rabbit holes. Then there's a recommendations page. I feel like I use this one so much because people are always recommending things, and I like to have lists like this because otherwise I have no idea where to store them and I just lose track of them. Then the to be read spread. I just made a note for September that I want to read some of Kafka's short stories and the book Dictionary of Sorrows, but I'll add to this more as the year goes on. Then there is the books I've read tracker. This is still my favourite page in the whole planner. I just think it's so fun and I love tracking my books on it, and it's so satisfying when it's all done. Obviously I can't add to this right now because September isn't even here yet, but I love this spread. And also the library book log for keeping a track of due dates for library books. Then there is an overview calendar of 2026 to 2027, and I just like to highlight the term dates here so that I have a note of them. And then we go into spreads which are specifically for preparing for the academic year. So there is this first one with just a general to-do list and then also a shopping list. The three things that are on my back to school shopping list are invisible tape, I need to fix my electric pencil sharpener if I can, and I also potentially want to buy the mini Remarkable tablet. And then the next spread is another reflective one for the new year. So things you're excited about this year and a mind map sort of thing of who you want to be by the end of the year. And then after that, we go into the monthly, weekly and daily planning spreads, which is what makes up the bulk of this planner. And I thought I would show you how to actually use these. And so I'm going to plan for my September in the planner to show you. So the first thing every month is a calendar, of course, for just tracking key dates and keeping a note of everything. And then we've got the monthly overview. I love this part of the planner and I use this diligently every month. First, there's a spot for your monthly to-do list, then any dates and deadlines to keep track of key assessment deadlines. And then on the right hand column there are yet more reflective questions, mainly around proactivity, main goals, and there is always a prompt for why you like the month that is coming in. So for September I said I love all the new possibilities, because that is the glorious thing about September. It's just filled with so much potential. The weekly overviews is very simple. It just breaks down each week into a mini to-do list with kind of the key things you'd want to accomplish. And then we've got the daily spreads. This does make up the bulk of the planner, and for every day there is half a page for writing your to-do list. And we've got 3 pages per week. A lot of planners will use 2 pages per week, but I just don't think that's enough space for to-do lists. Like, my to-do list is always pretty long, and I love having that space for a long to-do list. Then here we've got 2 columns, which is slightly unconventional, but incredibly useful. So one can be used as a checkbox, and then the other one can be used to number tasks and the order in which you want to do them, but it could also be used to track due dates for assessments, if you're using this for homework. And then on the right-hand column, there are these prompts that help you separate your to-do list. There is a space for events, reminders, admin tasks, and time to spend working. I really love being able to separate my to-do list like this, and that the planner kind of accounts for all of the mini tasks that might come up during a particular day. Now, the daily spreads have barely changed since the first planner because I really think they were perfect right from the start, and I use this planner basically every day. I think the format is so perfect because you can split between your tasks, your admin tasks, reminders, events, and everything is very clearly set out on the page, but also separated. There are also monthly dividers in card to mark each of the different months, and each of these has a different illustration. And every single month, after each of the monthly dividers, there are yet more extra additional spreads. That is one of the most fun things about this planner, is how many spreads there are. And that's always something I longed for before I designed this. Like, loads more fun organisational spreads, because I love filling in journal spreads and kind of prompted sheets like this. Okay, so in October there aren't actually any extra spreads. In November we've got gratitude journaling, testimonials that friends can fill out, and then a notes page. For December we have quite a few. There's a little gift ideas section for Christmas planning and a Christmas to-do list. Then yearly reflections, which are always fun, and a master to-do list, as well as a notes page, because there's always a lot to plan in December. There is also a 2027 bingo at the end of January, and also some 2027 ins and outs, which are always quite fun to write. In February we've got mid-year reflections, and also this, which is basically a flashcard that you can use. So you can just fold the page here like this, and then you write your question here and then your answer here, and you can test yourself easily on it in your planner. For March we've got reasons to be happy. I think this is a time of the year where things can start to get a bit stressful because exam season is coming up, and so this is a lovely thing to be able to reflect on. In April we've got a mid-year reset. These are some ideas of little things you can do to get more on top of everything academically and kind of feel more organised, and also another notes page. For May there is another notes page, an exam timetable, and a master to-do list, because of course we're going into exam season. For June there is an exam tracker where you can keep track of how your exams have gone. And then for July, things to do for myself during exam season, so you can keep a list of some self-care activities, and there are also a few little reminders here. And then for August we've got more yearly reflections like we did in December, and also a little summer bucket list, which is quite fun. And then right at the end there is a birthday tracker for writing down people's birthdays. I love filling this one in. It's very fun to kind of tick off the little thing that you've done to kind of send them a card or give them a present or something. There is also notes pages. Of course, you need to have notes pages in a planner. We've got 6 of them. And then also some master to-do lists, academic and non-academic. And one of my favourite parts is right at the back. There is an accomplished this year and story of the month. So accomplished this year is for something significant that you achieved that month that you want to remember and commemorate. I think it's really important to not just keep track of the things we have to do, but also the things that we have done. And this is a great page to be able to look back on and see how far you've come, essentially. And then story of the month is similarly about tracking, remembering your year, but it's more about specific memories and like story-worthy things that have happened to you every month. And then right at the end, the final page is things I find intellectually fascinating. I really do believe that we come back to certain themes and topics regardless of what area we're researching or learning about. So for example, one thing I always come back to is time and nostalgia. That's something which just creeps into every kind of learning or piece of research I do. I always end up relating it to time. So this is a place to track those topics and then also write why you find it interesting. And then finally, at the end, there is a little space to stick your timetable so you don't lose it. But that's everything in this year's academic planner, and I'm beyond excited to be able to share it with you. And just to finish this video, I'll give a few details on it, like frequently asked questions. So it's going to launch on the 5th of August, which is tomorrow at 5 p.m. BST. And the planner will be available on our website, which is pumpkinproductivity.co.uk. The planner is also going to retail for £21, which is the same as last year. The paper is also fountain pen resistant. That is something which people often ask about. I'm a fountain pen lover, and so of course I had to make sure that it wouldn't bleed through. In the past, it was also watercolour resistant. It was like watercolour grade paper, but we did reduce the paper thickness slightly so that it could be a thinner planner because it was just getting too thick. We do also ship internationally. However, if you're ordering internationally, be wary that there are taxes that will arise when it comes into your country. When it enters your country, you will have to pay an additional tax. And so if you are wanting to order from outside the UK, just be aware of that and maybe factor that into your decision of whether you want to order or not. And the other thing with shipping, just to really stress, is it's very expensive to ship outside the UK. And so this is just a reminder that we don't earn any money on the shipping, but we can't reduce the cost of shipping because that's just how much it is to send. But I did just want to note that because I think it will factor into whether you decide to buy this if you're outside the UK. If you have any other questions about the planner, please do say. Like, I'm so excited about this. Genuinely, I cannot believe that it's the 7th year of releasing this, and every year I'm like, is this going to be the last one? Will I keep on doing it? But I love making this planner so much, and it's like, it makes me smile so much, and it makes me so happy every time a student reaches out to say that it's got them through the year and they've been using it for all of their like planning for the whole of the year, or that they've been using it for 5-6 years, and so the idea of stopping it just feels borderline impossible. And the final question that lots of people have been asking is, will there be a yearly planner? And yes, there will be a yearly planner, and they will be the same cover options too. So if anyone's really, really keen to get this cover, which already lots of people on Instagram have been asking and checking, yes, this cover design will also be for the yearly planner too. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for all of your support, which means that I'm able to make these planners. It really is a dream to be able to share these planners every year, and I say this every year, but 14-year-old me would be over the moon to know that I had a small stationery business that makes planners, academic planners, like what I would deem the perfect academic planner. Like, I genuinely do think this is the perfect planner for students, and I am so excited every year to be able to share it all over again. So thank you so much for making this possible, and I hope that you have more than just a productive week.